Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today we're going to be upgrading the gas tank in a Pontiac Fiero, so let's go ahead and get started. What I have here are two Pontiac Fiero gas tanks. This one here is a 1986. This one here is a 1987. Now they may look similar, however there is a difference. The 86 and earlier, so the 84, the 85, the 86 and Pontiac Fiero had, I believe, a 10.2 or 10.3 gallon fuel tank, which is what we have here. Now the 87s and the 88s, which we have here, actually had an 11.9 gallon fuel tank. So you're gaining more than a gallon of gas extra by upgrading that. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video, is we're going to be swapping it out. If you've been following any of my videos about the Fiero, this is the gas tank that we were dealing with that had some major leaking issues. So if you do have a gas tank in your Fiero or any other vehicle that has some leaking issues, you can check out my video via the link above on how to restore one. That's how to clean out all of it, patch it, and all that stuff, which is what we did here. So what we're going to be doing today, though, we're going to be taking the fuel sending unit out of here, moving it to this one, and then putting that into the Fiero. Now, if you're in need of a new fuel tank for your Fiero and you're not able to restore it like we did with this one originally, and the reason I'm changing it out is this one was really badly corroded on the inside, and just for peace of mind, I'm just going to go ahead and swap it out. Now, you can't find new Fiero gas tanks normally. However, there is a website called Rodney Dickman's. He sells a lot of Pontiac Fiero parts, including these. He was able to get a company that he's partnering with to remanufacture in the 87 and 88. So you can find both of them through him. They are selling fast. But I'll put along the bottom, I'll also have a link down in the description to his website in case you just want to buy a new one or if you just want to upgrade it like we're doing in this video. Overall, they look like the same gas tank, but if we pan here, you can see the difference. The one from the 84 and earlier actually looks bigger because it sits a little higher, but if we look down on this one's a lot wider. It kind of opens up here at the bottom. Now, it will fit in the 84 through 86, and that's what we're going to do in this video, is upgrade it and show you how it goes in place. You are going to need to replace the gas tank straps. You can see for the front strap, the new one is much longer. The rear strap is about the same, but you also will need longer T-bolts. You can see the difference there, because once this new gas tank gets in place, the old bolts and the straps, the placement, are a little bit higher than they are on the 87 and 88 Fiero, as opposed to the 84 to 86. So you want to make sure that you order those as well. Rodney Dickman's also has them on his website. You can order them individually, I believe, and if you order this gas tank kit, it should come with that. Coming in from the back to remove the old fuel tank, there's 4 clamps that hold the coolant lines in place, shown right here. There's 2 in the back, 2 in the front. They'll need to come off. That we can drop the tank. Then we have a rear strap and a front strap, as well as this chassis brace right here. We'll remove the chassis brace. It's held on by 4 13mm bolts. Next, we're going to come here in the back of the gas tank, and you have where all the connections are. So we're going to need to disconnect all of these lines. Then you also have your intake hose that goes in. So before you lower the gas tank, you can go ahead and disconnect all of these, and then we'll be able to support the gas tank, and then we can remove the 2 straps and then lower it. As you go ahead and disconnect any of the hose clamps or connectors, you want to make sure that you have a pan underneath, because you will have fuel in the lines as shown here that's going to drip down. You don't want that going in your face. You don't want it going on the floor, so just make sure you have that in place. Next, we're going to go ahead and undo the straps. If there is any gasoline in the tank, it's a good idea to take a hydraulic jack with some blocking, support it in the middle. If not, you can bring it down by hand. So as you take the straps down, push them out of the way as shown here. Then you can lower it gently in the front. Sometimes the back is kind of tight in there. So we'll work our way here to the back, gently pull that down, bring that down slowly. But you don't want to pull it all the way down because you still have the connector for the fuel pump. So if we come here from the back, you can see there's the fuel pump harness. We can then reach around and we can pull that through. And come here on this side. I'll show you what we're doing. So here you can see it right there coming down. So if we grab it, we can gently pull that through the firewall. And here we go. Pull that down. And that's it. You don't want to tug it too hard. You don't want to rip it. So just kind of work it through. And then once that's done, we can pull the old gas tank out. Now to remove the fuel pump assembly, what you'll do is take a flathead screwdriver. You have little tabs here on the ring. Gently tap it with a hammer till you get it moving in a counterclockwise direction. And as we keep hammering it here, you can see it moving. And then once it's off, we can just slide that off and pull the whole fuel pump assembly out. To put the new one in, you're going to gently work the float in. Once you get it in place, you can set it in. You want to make sure that the rubber ring gasket that provides that seal at the top is in place. Then we can drop it in, and you're going to line up the bracket that the ring goes around up with the tabs on the gas tank itself. Once that's in place, then we'll take the flathead screwdriver and hammer, and on a clockwise motion, you're going to go ahead and tap this ring back in place and lock it back down the same way we took it off. This is the area where the fuel tank goes. You can see the lines up here. The next thing you need to do is you need to replace these straps. You can just take the old one. You have this little T support. Turn it. Let's see if I can get a close up in here. You're going to turn it up, and then it just, let's see, here we go. It just turns down, and then you can just pull it out, remove it, bring our new one in. We're going to turn it, put it in this way first, and then rotate it. Boom, there you go. You want to make sure that you have this end so that way it can meet the stud up here and bolt on. But we are going to have to bend this around the tank when we put it in to shape it properly. And then we'll have to do the same with that one down there at the other end. So I'll put that one in place. We'll be back and we can start raising the new tank in. Here's our T-bolt, the existing. What you're going to want to do, you can see how it kind of locks right here. So you're going to turn it, take it up, rotate it. It slides right out. And then now, to put the new one in, same thing. You're going to slide it up, turn it, drop it right in place like that, and now it's lodged in, and the same as with the straps. We have the new T-bolt in place. You come over here on this side, we have the front strap in place, and then if we turn this way, it's a little tight in here, but I'll try to show it. There's the other T-bolt, and here's the longer straps. Now before you lift the fuel tank in place, you're going to have to take this. Let me pull this around so you can see it. You need to take the plug here to your fuel pump, and you need to feed it back up in here. You'll see up in this corner is a little opening. Let me get up closer in there. But that's where you're going to want to feed it through. So if we go up in here, There you go, you can see that. So we're going to go ahead and push that harness through and then get it on the other side. And then when we raise it up, we'll be able to pull the actual cable through and then connect it to the plug behind the engine near the firewall. Looking all the way up there, you can see how I have the wire tucked in. So if we come here on the other side, here we should be able to find the harness and then pull it all the way through. Looking all the way up there, you can see where I pulled it through. And then from there we can get to it in the engine bay and make the connection once we get the fuel pump, the fuel tank completely in place. Let me show you how I raise these, because these gas tanks on the Fiero can be a little annoying unless you have a lift. So what I did, we got it in place as we saw. We fed the harness for the fuel pump through the firewall. So what I did now is I took the gas tank and I just propped it up on both sides just on a box, and then I could put this hydraulic jack right in the middle. Of course, you want to use blocking. I have a nice piece of wood blocking, that way you're not going to be damaging the gas tank. And then now what I can do is I can raise it up just up in the middle. Now we are going to need to get to the straps, so the rear strap we can get to. I'm going to have to, once we get it strapped in place, I'm going to have to move that blocking a little bit out of the way. But and then once we strap it in, then we'll come in and we have that chassis brace that goes across the middle. Then we'll put that in last. So I'm going to start raising it in place. When we get it up higher, I'll make all the connections, and then we'll put it all the way up and secure everything. You do have these lines here, the coolant lines. You may have to pull them a little bit out, because this gas tank will fit in the opening on an 84 to 86 Fiero. It is the same opening as I believe on the 87, 88, but I did measure it. It'll fit fine. These lines can sometimes be obstructing it, so what I did is I just kind of pulled them a little bit out of the way so it can slide in place, and then afterwards we'll secure them back where they need to be. As you're raising this up, your T-bolt can get pushed up with this lip here. So what I do is I raise it up a couple inches and just make sure I pull that right back down. That way you can still see it. Otherwise it's going to get tucked back up in there. Then you're going to have to drop the tank again and redo it again. Now, you have these coolant lines here. And if the T-bolts that you get from Rodney Dickman's aren't long enough, you may have to get another piece of, I believe these were 3/8 is, I believe, the size. And what I did is I extended them another 1.5 inches. So that way it clears that. But I'll leave it up to you, because I couldn't move my lines that much out of the way. So you may have to extend them if not. Next, you want to go ahead and reconnect all the lines like I did here. And you would just put them back on the same way that you took them off. Everything is back on. We went ahead and put this chassis brace back up here, across here. Sometimes you may have to replace that with a 87, 88 one, because it's a little bit more sleek. But in this case here, I was able to get the original one from my 86 Fiero to go back up there. So that went up without any problem. If not, I was going to try to modify it. But the straps are up. The gas tank is up. If you come behind the engine here, you can connect the harness for the fuel pump. And just reach around near the firewall, make that connection, plug everything securely, and you can see here where it's located right here behind the engine. Here's a shot of it from underneath. You can see the gas tank is nice and in place. Chassis brace is in place. You can see the T-bolts that I extended a little bit longer. They're still tucked in where they need to be, but they're easier access, which I like better. Well, this wraps up this video on how to upgrade the fuel tank on a Pontiac Fiero. Now, this is upgrading if you have an 86 or earlier, upgrading it to the gas tank of an 87, 88, which gives you a little more than 1.5 gallons more. Also, if you have an older one that is failing, rusting, all the ones you can find online or at any automotive places are going to be used anyway. So at least this way you can go through Rodney Dickman. Like I said, I have the link down in the description if you want to check them out. To my knowledge, he's the only place selling brand new ones. He's getting them remade, but they're all going to be the 87, 88, so you'll have to do the conversion. It is a little bit time consuming, a little bit involved. You really got to have patience and work it in. But once it's done, it's in place. You got a brand new gas tank. You get more capacity for your fuel. And that pretty much wraps it up. So I hope that this video was informative for you. Please send me any questions, comments. I would love to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate all the support. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.